Southern California are over. We have blue skies overhead, and Morgan Lucas is warming up for the Kragen O'Reilly Winternationals. And we welcome you to the NHRA Full Throttle Drag Racing Series Blue Skies. Wow, that's just weird. But the good news is we are ready to go. Let's take a look at the Lucas Oil Top Fuel Ladder. And Brandon Bernstein in second round scheduled to face Tony Schumacher. Wow, that will be a big matchup. How about Corey McClenathan and Doug Coletta? Now, Coletta, you may remember, had a big fire, but they've had a couple of days to get the whole thing rebuilt. Here is Antron Brown, and this is a solo run. Del Cox was supposed to face him and didn't, and now Antron just hits the throttle and shuts her down and moves on. Now, you remember this? Doug Coletta, big-time fire when he came up against the four-time European champion Urs Erbacher. But that was several days ago, and so they've definitely got that one rebuilt. And here is Doug Coletta on the line, facing Corey McClenathan. Wow, good reaction time, good drag race, and the win goes to Doug Coletta. Morgan Lucas, different livery on the car, and Steve Chrisman. Oh, look at Morgan go. He drifts a little to his right, but he keeps it pointed right, lays down a good run, and Morgan Lucas moves forward. Top Fuel, round one, Brandon Bernstein. Now watch, though, on the right. That's Andy Carter, his first run, and everything goes wrong. Side panel comes off the car. He drifts over, crosses the line. Win goes to Brandon Bernstein. And so now Tony Schumacher will face Brandon Bernstein. Last year, Schumacher was 5-1 over Brandon. Oh, I thought Brandon had lost it for a minute there, but Brandon Bernstein takes the win. Tony Schumacher out in second round. So here is how they will match up. Antron Brown will now have to handle up Brandon Bernstein when they go to the semis, and Morgan Lucas will face Doug Coletta.
Well, it's tough, because that's obviously, he's the champ. He's been the champ for the past, 4 or 5 years, and maybe even 6. I can't remember. He's got so many. But, it's great by our Budweiser Lucas Oil team because, you got to get focused again, and, this is just like a first round, seems like, but you're in the second round, and you're on to the semis now, so hopefully we got something.
Well, we'll certainly see. How about Funny Car? Round two, Robert Height will face Jack Beckman. That's going to be a good matchup. They're both very, very strong this year. And on the other side, we're looking at Del Worsham and Gary Denton. Del, part of that new Alanabi operation. See how he can fare against the privateer. We'll start, though, with this matchup. Jim Head and Ashley Force Hood. Look at that. Jim Head comes ripping off the line, an 0.54 reaction time, and takes down the John Force racing car. Gary Denton, Del Worsham. Wow. And that one goes to Dencham.
Well, that's kind of a David and Goliath type deal, and obviously those guys are going to be fantastic all year long. Dell's a great driver. We know what Alan John's can do and the money behind those guys, but hey, this is Pomona. It might be our one and only race for the whole year, and it's great to do good. And I'll guarantee you, all we can do is just keep on trying, keep on swinging.
And great to see a guy like that do well. Let's take you back to round one. Ron Capps, left side of your screen. He faces, that gold car, that's him, John Force, the 14-time champ. But Ron Capps and Ed the Ace looking pretty strong this year. Ronnie wasn't real sure who won that, but let me tell you, it was Ron. He won, and he's moving on. And so now he comes up against Bob Taskin. Oh, look at Capps go. As Capps takes the win and does it from the right lane, which hasn't been that strong. Robert Height, Jack Beckman. And it's a red light for Jack Beckman. Robert Height takes the win. That was a big red light for Beckman. An 0.71 red. So here's the matchup for the semifinals. Funny car, Robert Height and Ron Capps. That's going to be classic. And Gary Denson will face Jim Head.
Tell you what, I'll wait around forever to get a win light. I heard old Jack Beckman leave. I thought, man, I'm late, but I think he must have red lit. But it's just great. No matter how long it takes, you got to give NHRA a lot of credit for sticking with this, getting this racetrack in this kind of condition. But I tell you what, we're still here at Auto Club Raceway. We're defending champs, and we're going to win this thing.
Yeah, they did a good job getting this track going, and so have the competitors staying with it. Height will face Ron Capps when we come back. Fans, it's Tuesday afternoon, but still thousands out at the track. They wanted to see the Winternationals. Now, when we left you in Pro Stock, we only had 2 pair down the track, so here is round 1. A special focus on Greg Anderson, #1 qualifier. He looked so powerful this year. On the other side of the ladder, how about the defending champion, Jeg Coughlin? He'll face Larry Morgan. Jeg only got in there at 6th. So here is Jeg and Larry Morgan. And Morgan's just kind of all over the place, and so Jeg will roll. Something went wrong there, too. Jeg will roll to the finish and take the win. Here we go with Warren Johnson. Glad he's back, and Jim Yates. And put that one down for Jim Yates, a 660 with a 3, 208 miles an hour. Mike Edwards and Greg Stanfield. Again, the left lane is the win. A 659 with a 5 for Edwards. Ricky Jones, Jason Line. Look at that reaction time. I got to tell you, Jason Line just came off the line with a 0.004 and takes the win. Here's Greg Anderson and Ron Krischer. Left lane has been very strong. That's where Greg is. Wow, now there's a race, but look at the numbers for Greg Anderson. Track record, ET, and speed. Now comes the Mopar of Alan Johnson and the basketball star, Tom Hammonds. Wow. What's that all about? Well, Alan Johnson, he's going to take the win, but that was more than a little bit interesting for both of them. So as we go to round 2 in Pro Stock, here is the ladder with Greg Anderson coming up against V. Gaines. And on the other side, Alan Johnson faces Jeg Coughlin.
Oh, you know, it shook going to second. I tried to grab third, and I was just grinding on the gears, and finally I seen Tom go by me. About that time, I put it in 5th gear, and I just pulled around him and got traction. So, pedal fest in Pro Stock. How about that?
So Pro Stock round 2. Let's take a look, and we start with Alan Johnson and Jeggy. Look at that Mopar fly. Alan Johnson takes the win, a 654 with a 9. That's the second quickest run in history. Gray and Jason Line. And this is Jason all the way. A 654, 210 mile an hour pass. Edwards and Yates. Left lane has been dominant. And Mike Edwards is going to take that one. He runs a 667 with a 4 at 210 miles an hour. But look at the wins by lane. If you want to win, you better get over there on the left side. Here's Greg Anderson and V. Gaines. And for Anderson, that's the quickest run in history. 211.13 miles an hour. In his 400th round of racing, he takes the win. So Greg Anderson will face Mike Edwards when we come back to the semifinals. And his teammate, Jason Line, will take on the Mopar power of Alan Johnson. Well, they are working back in Brandon Bernstein's pit. He will have to face Doug Coletta when they come back.